Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to make a short video for you guys explaining to you, talking to you a little bit about one of my camera systems, why I use this. If you guys follow us on Facebook, and you'll know that I post a lot of, photographs to our Facebook page, as well as my Instagram account. And so I like to take pictures of wildlife, and I've gotten a couple of questions from people who wanted to know what cameras and what lenses I'm using in order to get these photographs, because I'm taking photographs oftentimes of deer, way off in the distance, and getting some pretty good quality images. So I wanted to make a video talking to you guys about the system I'm using for my wildlife photography. It's actually one of my systems. I do have a couple of different systems, but I'm going to share my thoughts about why I like using this one a lot, especially for my long range photography applications. And I'll leave a link for our Facebook page in the description, as well as my Instagram account. If you guys want to follow me on either, go ahead and do so. I'm oftentimes posting new photo content and stuff to our Facebook pages that you're not going to see here on the YouTube channel. But anyways, what I wanted to show you guys today is one of my Micro Four Thirds camera systems that I use for wildlife photography. Now this is my Olympus OMD EM5 Mark II. This is a Micro Four Thirds camera. So basically, it's a smaller sensor. It's a two times crop sensor camera, and that's one of the reasons why I like this setup. And I've got this paired up currently with the Panasonic Leica branded 100 to 400 millimeter variable aperture zoom lens. I believe this goes from f4 to either 5.6 or 6.3 f-stop. But it's a really good high quality lens, and this is a really good high quality Micro Four Thirds interchangeable lens camera system. And I'm going to share some photos with you guys here on this video so you can get a feel for just what kind of quality images you can get with this. Now, a couple of things why I like this. First of all, obviously, as you can see, this is a pretty compact package. Now, on Micro Four Thirds, basically, like I said, the sensor here, it's a 2 times crop sensor in this camera. So basically, long story short, for anybody not familiar, when I have this paired up with my 100 to 400 millimeter zoom lens, because I've got a 2 times crop sensor in this camera, essentially this lens gets turned into a 200 to 800 millimeter full frame equivalent range of view. So that's a very good zoom range for wildlife photography. I mean, 800 millimeters at the long end, that can really reach out there and touch some animals. So it's a very good system, and it's a compact system for that zoom range. Now, if you were shooting on a full frame camera such as a Sony or a Nikon or a Canon, more of your DSLR package, even though Sonys are mirrorless. But if you were on a full frame, Canon or Nikon especially, to have a lens that would reach out to 800 millimeters would be like, I'm not kidding you guys, it would probably be 3 to 4 times as big of a lens, plus the camera body itself would be bigger than this OMD EM5, which is pretty small even with the battery grip installed. I actually have a separate, if you can see that or not, but I have a separate battery grip installed on this camera, which just basically allows me to get obviously better battery life, have an extra battery in here. Plus, ergonomically, I think it helps. It just makes the camera, honestly, these Olympus cameras, in some regards, are almost a little bit too small in certain applications, especially for wildlife photography. Got this big zoom lens on here. The body itself, the Olympus body, is actually almost kind of too small ergonomically. So the battery grip just helps to kind of make things ergonomically a little better. Plus, it gives you the increased battery life. So I do have the battery grip on here. So again, this is a really high quality lens. It takes amazing pictures, works good for video. And the Olympus cameras, another reason why I like this Olympus body, and pretty much every Olympus body nowadays, is this way. But this camera has an incredible in-body image stabilization system. I believe it's 5-axis. And again, it's body-based stabilization. So any lens that you throw on here is going to be image stabilized because it's in the camera. And Olympuses are known and really like world-renowned, famous for their amazing in-body image stabilization system. So this is really good for handheld photography. Now, when I'm out hiking through the woods or navigating through cover and doing handheld mobile photography, having in-body image stabilization is a really big key. It really helps you get sharper pictures and more usable images. Photograph in and photograph out, because like I said, you get such good image stabilization. I mean, I can handhold shots with shutter speeds like down into like 1/8 of a second, with this camera, which is pretty much unheard of. I mean, general rule of thumb is you wouldn't like to really break. I mean, the general rule of thumb is like, say I'm shooting at 800 millimeter equivalent. If I'm way out to 400 millimeters on this lens, it's going to be 800 millimeter equivalent. Ideally, you wouldn't like to shoot under 1/800th of a second. That's the general rule of thumb with photography. But with the image stabilization systems nowadays in these cameras, it's really allowing you to break those rules and really push your shutter speeds, down there lower, which is going to increase more, which is going to give the camera more light, which is going to allow you to shoot in darker conditions. So this system, it just works really good for me. The primary reasons why I like it is because of the crop factor. It makes your lenses pretty much twice as long as what they're marked. So like I said, this 100 to 400 turns into basically a 200 to 800, which is perfect for wildlife photography. I can really zoom in out there and take good pictures of wildlife. And plus, like I said, the Olympus cameras have such good image stabilization that it just makes handheld shots just really easy to obtain. Now, I do have a Nikon system, and I'm going to make a video for you guys showing you that system. And there are situations where I prefer the Nikon over the Olympus. But for handheld shots, for anything mobile on the go, or for any kind of like long nature hikes, anything that involves carrying a camera a long ways and handhold shooting it, I like this Olympus system with this Panasonic lens. It's really working good for me. What I'm going to do is at the end of this video here, I'm going to just have a few seconds of just show you guys some photos I've captured with this system, so you can get a feel for just how good an image quality you can get. And some of the people that I've talked to about cameras and what I'm using have been kind of surprised that I've gotten the results I've gotten out of a micro 4/3 camera system. But I think a lot of people underestimate the power of these micro 4/3 cameras, but they can really get you professional quality results. It really just comes down to having the good glass and having good shooting technique and getting the clear shots, and having a basic understanding of photography. How f-stop and your aperture and your shutter speeds and ISO settings. Just having a good understanding of how that kind of all comes together to make a good image. I do shoot manual pretty much exclusively now. When I first started out in photography, I was pretty much an automatic shooter, maybe aperture priority, but I have transitioned over to manual shooting, so I'm pretty much always in control of my f-stop, my shutter speed, my ISO, and I've really gotten some pretty good results with this. So there you have it, guys. Just wanted to give you a quick look at my setup. If you're looking for a wildlife photography system, this is one of the cheapest routes to go about doing so. I don't know the current prices on the EM5 Mark II body, but this is, it's a couple of years old now, so I think the prices have gone down on it, and it's certainly reasonably priced for what you get. This camera can also shoot HD video. Doesn't shoot in 4K, but it does shoot HD video, which is really good. Again, that image stabilization works perfect for video also. But really good camera, has all of the manual features you would want. It's really a full-featured camera. You can get this for a good price. And this 100-400 millimeter Panasonic Leica branded lens is a really high-quality lens. And I think I picked this up for somewhere around $1,700, which I know sounds expensive, and it is expensive. But for what you get as far as zoom range, there's no way you could even touch this in a full frame system for anywhere near that price. So bang for buck value, I really think you cannot go wrong with a Micro Four Thirds system for wildlife photography. So there you have it, guys. Quick look at my camera system, at this camera system, and now I'll leave you guys with some photos that I've captured with this setup. Again, guys, I always appreciate the support here on the YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you guys right back here in the next video.